prince lives here. We got 10,000 lakes. But wait, the women are beautiful. To me they are. And we're not infested with pretentious movie stars. And it hit me. Minnesota is dope. If only simply for not what we have, but what we don't.
Welcome to 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. I'm Tony Scott, joined in studio with Peter Odney. Peter, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me yet again.
We have a big sponsor for this week's show. Who is it? Talk to us about it a little bit.
10 Minutes with Tony Scott is brought to you by Pair Up, where groups and sponsors connect. Pair makes sponsorships easy for groups and events of all shapes and sizes. Find a sponsor in less than 60 seconds and activate your community to raise up to $1,000 or more toward custom shirts, cash donations, products and services, or food and catering from a national brand or local business near you. Pair Up!
All right, well, check it out. I had two requests from somebody on Twitter to go in and do something for Pair Up. So there are actually people watching our show, which is besides your mom.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves when I do the sponsor reading.
And there are more people actually listening, and they believe that this Pair Up thing can work.
We appreciate all 9 of you.
Yes, we really do. All right, so let's talk some hockey now. We're going to start at the top and go down. We're going to start boys high school. Lots of great action. Last week we saw 2 number 1 versus number 2s at AA and A. In single A, Hermantown, I thought, kind of got lucky and beat Delano. Delano had them right where they wanted them and couldn't finish the deal. And congrats to Tyler Watkins for scoring the tying goal and the game-winning goal for the Hawks. And then Stillwater, number 1, beats number 2 Elk River. Mm-hmm. Big news out of that game, I thought, more importantly than any of the results, is that Jax Murray from Elk River was hurt and may be out indefinitely. He might be out for a week. I don't know. When it's a back injury like Jax has had, back is such a big part of the game. We hope that Jax gets well soon and the Elks can get back to full strength.
It's certainly a key piece for Elk River's team with Jax.
Speed and energy and skill and everything that Jax brings to the table. There's no arguing that. Right. All right, talk to me a little bit about what happened at the Schwann's Cup. You saw a lot of that last week.
I made my way over to Ritter Arena, and I got the nice press box seating, so I got to see the whole ice, which is nice. Took in Edina and St. Thomas Academy playing for the Gold Division Championship. Edina, keep an eye on them. It was supposed to be a down year for the Hornets, but they're playing with a level of assuredness and confidence that I haven't seen from any other team.
I think we saw that in the Holiday Classic. They won. They looked good in all 3 games. Right. Maybe the Eden Prairie game not so much, but I thought they had a really good tournament there.
Yeah. Even in losses, though, they seem pretty measured and composed.
Yeah. They lost. They were went 1-2 in the Holiday Classic, and everyone came out of it thinking they might be one of the best teams in the state, and they proved it in the Schwann Cup.
Yep.
So speaking of that team, you talked to me about something interesting about it. I could talk ad nauseum about this topic. What you said to me earlier about the 7 kids that aren't even on this team?
Shockingly, I am a journalist. So during doing journalistic research about the Edina program, I came across a roster from the 2012-2013 Pee Wee AA season where they went undefeated.
In Minnesota, they went undefeated.
Minnesota,
they did lose once. They did lose once in Detroit.
One loss.
But for the record, they had an unbelievable season and an unbelievable roster. That's the facts, no doubt about it.
And comparing the Edina varsity high school roster with that Pee Wee AA roster, it looks like 7 kids are playing for other programs, whether that's Avon Old Farms, Benilde St. Margaret's, or Holy Family Catholic.
Peter Tabor.
Those are 7 varsity caliber players.
Oh, and then here's a footnote to that. So there's 7 varsity players, right? 7 players, right? That could be playing on that team. Mm-hmm. Here's another footnote. Demetrius Koumatsis didn't even make the team. He had moved here from Arizona. He's now back in Arizona since committed to Arizona State. So what a wonderful group. You have 2 down in Shattuck. You got Lagerstrom and Silanoff are down in Shattuck. Jack Jensen's playing in Eden Prairie. Clayton Phillips is playing in the USHL. I mean, these players are definitely making the most of other opportunities outside of Edina. Right. Meanwhile, back at the home front, Edina is arguably the 2nd best team in the state.
Still one of the top teams in the state, despite losing that much talent.
It's an amazing amount of talent they've lost and still are at a high level.
Our hats tip off to you, Kurt Giles.
Absolutely. Let's switch the gears to Bantams. We were over in Edina checking out the Edina Invitational last week. What did you see? Tell me about it.
I got to see the Bantam AA Championship game, and Grand Forks, they're 1 for 3. They finally got one. This is their third trip down to the metro area for a tournament in the past couple of months. And the previous 2 times they made it to the finals but lost, and this time they come out with a 6-3 win over St. Cloud, scoring 3 times in 71 seconds in the third period.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, they had lost in our Blue Ox, and they lost in the Eden Prairie final as well. Yep. Who stood out to you over at Edina? I saw the semifinals, and you got to see the finals.
Yeah, I really like Jack Smith from St. Cloud, tireless worker.
Outstanding player.
William Lawson Body from Grand Forks, he scored the eventual game winner. He's one of those kids who he'll sneak up on you.
Yeah, I would call him a sneaky type of player.
He's a sneaky fast player. And Dane Montgomery, again, from Grand
Forks.
Forks.
Great player. He played in the Bantam Elite League last summer. Great skill. Mm-hmm. I saw the Madison Capitals play earlier in the tournament. They had a kid named Owen Dubois. I think if on skates, I think he would hit the ceiling. He's so tall and very skilled and gifted. He's one of those players that's going to get a lot of attention from WHL, USHL scouts just because of that. And I think he'll be one of those kids that might be a candidate for the National Development Program. We saw him we saw him in a play against South St. Paul. And then obviously Nick Williams is a kid I've been high on. He had a great tournament for Edina, as Edina did really well in the tournament. And then Owen Gallatin from White Bear Lake was a standout on defense for the Bears as well.
Yep,
so
both Owen Gallatin and Nick Williams, they're not players that are going to wow you size-wise. Both of them are a little bit on the shorter end, but they can both move the puck.
Great skill, great skaters. 2 of the greatest skaters you'll see in Bantam hockey, that's for sure. Let's just quickly report on the results of Pee Wees. Osseo Maple Grove wins another Edina Invitational.
The Leaf Birds doing their thing at another tournament. No glaring weakness.
Yeah, there's no weakness
level
to that team. The only thing that could catch up to them is overconfidence. They just seem to win a lot. They're on a major roll right now. Clearly the number 1 team in the state, no doubt about it.
No argument here.
Pee Wee A, Edina beats Osseo Maple Grove. Sounds like the Big Pumpkin. Yeah. They played each other a lot. The 2 A teams battled out and beat some really good Pee Wee A teams to get there. So shout out to both teams. Congratulations to Edina for winning that one. And then in the Pee Wee B tournament, Pee Wee B Green beat Pee Wee B White to win that one in a game where 2 teams were basically undefeated heading into it. So congratulations to Green on that big victory.
Edina Green over Edina White. Must be nice having so much talent that you have 2 of the best Pee Wee B teams in the state.
Well, and look at it. I mean, their A team won as well. So it's not like, oh yeah, the talent drops off after Pee Wee AA. No, the talent gets better after Pee Wee AA.
There's no drop off.
It's no drop off. There's so many kids that are of equal ability or close ability. It's hard to pick one good team. So and the AA team has done well the last few weeks as well. Right. So switching gears to Squirtacular pairings came out. Lots of fun making up those brackets, making even brackets, making sure teams are not playing district opponents, all of those things. Right. I think we came out with a good schedule. Who did you see in this schedule that stood out for you as potential good games to get into the quarterfinals?
There are 3 games that I really like from those pairings. Stillwater and Hermantown should be a good game.
Both top 10 teams. Only one's going to get to go to the quarterfinals.
That's always interesting, too, when one team gets to move on out of this crop. Edina Green and Laverne is another match.
Great. When I saw Green play last weekend against Osseo Maple Grove, that's a really strong team. They're a top 5 team in the state. Laverne is a team that's just killing teams down in southwestern Minnesota right now. They've played a couple teams up here in the Metro and fared well. I think that's a team that could make its name in this tournament.
Right. It's going to need a strong showing. Excuse you. The Laverne is a team that'll need a strong showing up here in the Metro to solidify their place as one of the top teams in the state.
I agree. And then their last game, you thought looked good?
Eden Prairie and the Dallas Junior Stars.
Stars Elite. Dallas
Stars Elite,
yes.
And Dallas is one of those teams. Obviously, you don't see them a lot. They're down in Texas playing south of the border, so they're one of those teams that you don't see. So you don't have any scouting notes on them.
So Dallas is one of the top. We have 5, I think, Tier 1 teams that are playing in this year's Squirtacular. They're by far the best ones on the My Hockey ranking scale. They'll be playing Eden Prairie, who I think is one of the best teams in the state. They're just outside the undefeateds, I call them, even though Chaska's lost twice to Osseo Maple Grove. I like those top 3 teams, Osseo Maple Grove, Woodbury, and Chaska Chan. But right after that is Eden Prairie. I think they're a good team. So them paired against Dallas Stars in a game will be a really good game.
That'll be interesting.
All right, so we had a segment 2 weeks ago on our show called Blue Moon. This week, we found another blue moon. We aren't going to just report blue moons if there's not one, but I found another blue moon.
Two blue moons, back-to-back shows.
In 2 weeks, it's amazing.
It's a sign.
It is. The science would probably dispute that there could be 2 blue moons in 2 weeks, but let's roll with it.
We're not about science.
So what was the blue moon this time?
The blue moon were how many number 1 versus number 2 games? There were 5 of them.
5
over the past week.
That's a lot. It's a lot. And it was cool. The girls' game was awesome. Maple Grove got beat by Edina 2-1.
Right.
I wrote a story about this as well. We talked about the Hermantown game. We talked Hermantown Delano. We talked about the Stillwater game and then the Pee Wee B game. And then we didn't talk much about the Maple Grove and Chaska Chanskort game, but it was one of the best games that I saw of all the games I saw last weekend. That was one of the best hockey games I saw. Danny Nelson ends it with about 3 minutes left with a big shot. That's a good rematch potentially coming up in our Sportacular. So 5 games. What was interesting about the Blue Moon, though?
That none of the number 2 teams won.
No upsets.
Number 1 sweeps all 5 games.
That was amazing. So our number 1's definitely had a great week from a staff rankings perspective. All right, Boom Roasted. You go first,
Let's
Peter.
boom roast someone.
Yeah, let's let somebody have it.
All right. I saw a lot of different
You're gonna
levels.
give him a game puck and a boom roast? I'm just
Game
kidding.
puck will blend back in.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of hockey at a lot of different levels over the past couple of weeks. But
We saw a game together.
We
believe it or
did
not.
see a game together.
Yes, we did.
But my boom roast is going to go to poor sportsmanship in the handshake line. During the game, I get it. The emotions are running high, but as soon as that buzzer goes off, you pat your goalie on the head, you take your glove off, you shake hands, you say good game. There's no place
I
for
agree.
punching kids, for saying snide remarks to kids. If you lost, you lost. Take it.
Suck it up.
Deal with it.
I agree.
You're going to lose again. I promise.
Yeah, I agree. Suck it up. I love that boom roasted. That's good. My boom roasted has nothing to do with hockey, oddly enough. It goes out to the University of Minnesota Administration and Athletics Department for firing Tracy Claeys. My take is, if you fire one, you fire them all. Get rid of the president, get rid of the athletic director. Let's start over. It was a bad situation. All parties were responsible. Making Tracy Claeys into a scapegoat is a boom roasted, even if it has nothing to do with youth hockey. So
Enjoy
boom
the
roasted.
winter, Tony.
Yeah, boom roasted to you, University of Minnesota. All right, game pucks.
Now we can do game pucks. My game puck is going to go to the staff at the Pond in Rosemount for hosting the New Year's Challenge, a 3-on-3 extravaganza complete with light show, fog
they do
machine.
a great job.
It is a production for the ages. So game puck to the Pond in Rosemount.
They do a great job, thank you. My game puck goes out to the staff at volunteers in the Elk River Hockey Association, Kurt Remick, and everybody who put on a great tournament, the John Twaddle, Eden Prairie PWB, and Bantam B championship games. I was up there a lot this past weekend and saw them. They did a great job. What a wonderful event. Great diversity of teams in the event. So hats off to Kurt for putting together a great tournament.
Yep. Do you know what the dance is called? The team that wins the John Twaddle tournament, you know what
No.
they do? They do the Twaddle Waddle.
Oh, they do. They do. For a little FYI, John Twaddle was a young man who passed away in an auto accident crossing Highway 10, and his family has for years run that tournament, been involved with running a tournament in his name. So
I immediately regret making that joke.
that's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Many people didn't know that. I didn't know it until I got there. There's a big shrine to John and his family and a jersey of his and stuff like that. So
Very
it's
cool.
great. So game puck goes out to all the people at Elk River. For Peter Rodney, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in.
And if you ain't gonna leave, cause this is where you're from, say